Hello everyone, I'm Colin Cannett, and today's topic is how to price your woodworking projects. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, now would be a great time to do that because this video is part of a three-part series. The first one I've already done, which is projects that sell. This one is how to price those projects, and the last one, which will be coming up in a couple or 3 weeks or so, is where you can sell those. And all of those things combined will help give those people who want to make a little bit of money in woodworking some goals and some guidelines on what they can do. So let's get started. Well, I'm pretty excited about this video today because I've had many people asking me for many years, what prices should I be setting when I sell my woodworking projects? And today I'm going to give you some guidelines on what you can do. Now, there's really only two objectives. The first one, of course, is to sell projects, to sell your woodworking projects. The second one is to learn from the process. And the second one, the second objective, learning from the process, really is kind of the basis for a lot of this stuff. And I'll tell you why. When you become a student of whatever it is that you're making, for example, in my case, I love making boxes, and I've researched all sorts of different boxes. I've got books on making boxes. I've watched what other people sell boxes for. I research different prices that they sell them for. And in all of that, I've learned a lot about making boxes. And you need to do the same thing. You need to be a student of whatever that sort of niche that you're in. And sometimes there isn't a place where you can go and find that. You have to experiment and learn on your own. And that's another process of being a student of your own process, of your own woodworking niche. Now, when I was preparing for this video, I thought, I'm going to go online and see if there's any industry standards that I'm not aware of on how to do some pricing. And as I did a little bit of research, I found pretty much right off the bat, I found 3 industry standards on how you can price your projects. And what that tells me, and I kind of already knew that, what that tells me is there is no industry standard, because if there's at least three different ways of doing things, then there is no industry standard. For example, an industry standard in North America is that plywood is 4 feet by 8 feet. That's an industry standard. But when it comes to pricing, there's all sorts of different ways of doing it. And today I'm going to show you a process that'll work for you, and not only a process that will work for you for your pricing, but how your customers will be able to identify with it. Now, I've been fortunate in my life to work for a time in the retail industry. So learning what customers tend to want to buy makes a big difference. And here's what you may not know. When you have products, people, as I talked about before, people like to have choice, and they like to have choice in pricing as well. And what makes a difference in pricing is when people can see things that look similar. Very often when they don't really know what to purchase, people will often pick the medium priced article. And if you don't know that, go and look yourself on Amazon and look at some product where there's maybe 10 or 12 different products, and imagine which one you would pick. And just don't think about it, just kind of go and look. And very often people will not purchase the least expensive, and often they will not purchase the most expensive. If they don't really know, they will often purchase something in the middle of the road. And that's the product that you will probably sell the most of, is a middle of the road product. And you can do that. You can figure out what that is, whatever you're making, by having different samples of each. So if we look at these 3 boxes and you go good, better, best. So what's the difference between these, for example? Okay, both of these are spalted wood. This one's got a spalted wood box, not finished on the inside. Nice little box for somebody, but more of an inexpensive box. The next one is a little bit more detailed, maybe a little bit more expensive, because look, it has a little bit different box, or a little bit different top, and it's also a little bit thicker boxes, get a little bit more wood inside here. So that's another one. But look at the third one. When you take the lid off, you go, wow, look at that. Now that's a box that's finished on the inside. Clearly that's going to be a little bit more. It also has a little bit different top, still has the spalted wood. That's the kind of thing people will look at and go good, better, best. And they will make a decision on what they want to invest in, whether it's the least expensive or the most expensive. And that's going to depend on their own personal likes and dislikes and why they're buying something. So having a choice for people in pricing is a huge advantage. Okay, so now you're saying, okay, so what about all this, Colin? Yes, that's all important, but how do I price my projects? And that's where you need to make that decision. And when I talked about the very first thing, I said the first objective is to sell product. The second one is to be a student of whatever it is you're selling. And that is going to be your guideline. So, for example, if you're selling boxes, you need to research what boxes are out there and what other people are selling them for. Then you need to compare that with the quality of the boxes that you are making. And from that, you will get a guideline on what to price. And remember, the first guideline, the first objective is to sell product. So you need to be low enough that customers are going to pay for that. Don't get caught up in the, well, let's see, in my area, the minimum wage is $20 an hour, and it took me 3 hours to make the box, plus I needed the wood and the finishing, so let's see, $75. You know what? You might be able to sell it for that if you've got good detail in it, but the point is to sell boxes, and no matter what you price that at, using other guidelines, the customer is always going to set the price. If the price is too high for them, they're not going to purchase. If the price is too low, they're not going to purchase because they're going to think something's wrong with it. So you need to find that medium price range, and you can do that by being a student and researching what other people are doing in a similar situation to what you're in. Because I guarantee you, there is going to be people selling things similar to what you're doing. Even if you've got a whole new environment that you've created, there will be something out there that is similar that you can use as a guideline. And that's what you need to do. That's how you're going to start off. But the main objective is to start selling, because if you go out with a table full of product and you don't sell anything, how discouraging is that? You need to sell something to keep your motivation going, because then you can go, well, I sold out this, I sold that, people like this, they like that, and I sold out of something, so maybe my price is a little bit too low, so now I can increase the quality, I can increase the price, and that's where you're going to come to a leveling place that's going to be right for you. Well, after my last video, which was selecting projects, I got a lot of feedback, and I got many emails from people who are doing just this kind of thing. They've picked an area and they're making projects and they're selling them. So you can do this. There is a market out there for this. You know what? There's millions of people who can't do woodworking, don't want to do woodworking, but still love the products that woodworkers make. They just need a place to be able to find it and purchase it, because there is a demand for this, and a lot of you can fulfill that and make a little bit of money on the side to help refresh your wood, and maybe even a tool or two along the way. That concludes my video for this series, or for this episode. The next one is going to be on where to sell. And that's going to be very interesting as well, where you can sell your projects. And some of you will have some ideas, but I've got some little ideas up my sleeve that you may not have thought of. So I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Don't forget to subscribe and join me on that next episode in a couple or 3 weeks.